Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 nerds, by nerds hanging out with, well...
This nerd, I'm Ted.
Hey guys, we have another GM911 for you, and this one came in through Facebook. GM911, how to stage a good war between top land mountain dwarves and an art-driven culture of many races underground with lava dominated by drow culture.
Before we get into that, go down to the description below. Sign up for the newsletter. It's a great way to get tips delivered straight to your inbox.
So, essentially, we got a bunch of underground dwelling races, and they're at war with topside mountain dwarfs. So, right now, I can tell you this. The races below are screwed. You don't have to really do anything. Just say they all lost because they're battling the superior master race of mountain dwarfs. Done deal.
That's one way to do it. Now, you read all the information, all the information we have. I think I need a little bit more. Like, is he looking to have this be the campaign? Is this a session? Running a war is something that's very complex in the D&D system.
Here's kind of like my opinion, right, of this stuff. Nothing matters unless it affects the PCs. You can say stuff happened, it can be in the background, and there may be consequences, but you don't actually have to invest a lot of time or effort into it. You can just decide what happened if it happens off camera where the PCs are not.
Right.
If it's happening where the PCs are, that's a different ball of wax. I mean, really, this game is about your player characters. It's about the adventures they're going to go on. It's about the story you're going to create with them. So the real question is, what side are the PCs on? Are they part of the many races of art and culture from
the underground, or are they part of the dwarves?
Or are they part of the dwarves? Because this is going to affect how that game goes. Like, the war can go any way you want it to go, right? So, and you have to be open to the players affecting the outcome that you've chosen. Because, maybe they do something really clever. Or maybe they do something really stupid. You never know. The players are going to surprise you every time.
Absolutely. Now, in one of our other videos, you talked about the fog of war. So, that's... You can't get, more focused than that for this particular video. So if the players are operating in that, viewing circle, whatever is within their sight, is the only thing you really need to be concerned and worried about, because that's the only sphere of influence that they can do anything about. So are they running, from either side? Are they running espionage? Are they running hit and run type tactics?
Are they a commando force? Are they leading the army? Are they leading units or battalions?
So there's a lot of different things that can go on there. Now, I will say that, to my knowledge, there isn't really good mass combat rules, for D&D. So,
there was the Unearthed Arcana article. If you wanted to go over the watch, you could get that, and it does really, it really does lay out a method for you to do mass scale combat if that's the avenue you wanted to go down.
Okay, well, my apologies for missing that. I couldn't find anything in the actual books.
We actually did a video on that way back when. So
there's a lot of videos that we do. My apologies. But I will say that in one of my most recent games, there was actually a bit of mass combat that was done, and I did it as opposed to rolling dice. I said, okay, you guys, tell me how this goes out. There was superior numbers on the player side because I set it up that way so that I could get into this particular scenario. So therefore it was like, all right, this is what you guys do. And it was a back and forth. The players said something and then I did something, and there wasn't dice rolling, and it was cool and it was fun. So you could get that and get the party down to, all right, it's us versus, the big bad of the actual bad side, or the opposing side, if you will. And then you could get into combat if you wanted, and actually roll dice and roll stuff out. Or, you could do it, where the whole thing is just done with player agency, depending upon what you want to do. But that's only if you're actually looking to have the players leading the actual army. If they're doing stuff on the side or, stealthy type stuff, then you don't even need to worry about what's actually going on, and base how things are going in the battle based on what the players are actually doing to influence the events of the battle.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is unless you have, you may even have like a predetermined outcome. So like the players can affect that, but like in your mind, it might be really hard for them to affect it. Like I know when we played in Scott Garaby's modern game, he basically had victory. He had like a victory point system in mind, and it was like, depending on what we did, we could earn victory points. Mm-hmm. And the more we earned, the smoother the battle was going to go for us. Mm-hmm. So he almost like made up his own on the fly mass combat system.
And there was even a spot where it's like, okay, there's this one spot and it's going to go really bad for you unless X. You have to make a decision. Are you willing to let the
bad stuff happen?
The bad stuff happen to get more victory point. So it was really, really cool, really interesting. At some point in time, maybe we'll get him to actually figure out whether that was something that he just did on the fly.
No, he had it all planned out.
Yeah, so if there's mechanics, and stuff behind it, maybe we can, get that and give that as a share or whatever.
Yeah, Scott is very much a planner. But that being said, like you could even do you could actually do like the mass scale combat, but the party is a unit working together, and like all the battle around them is narration except for what they're actually doing.
Right.
And you may determine like. Maybe they do so well they actually rally the troops around them, which is reflected in the narration, or maybe they're getting pummeled, and then that could also demoralize the troops around them and have an effect as well. Maybe you deemed that they were actually going to lose this battle, but due to some really clever actions on the players and some really good die rolls, they actually kill one of the commanders that you weren't anticipating, and they totally turn the tide of that battle. And even though you had planned a different outcome, so things like that can happen. And when it does, my advice is to let it happen.
Absolutely,
it's okay for your apple cart to get upturned every once in a while.
It's okay to have your villain decapitated in the first round of combat.
Sometimes it just happens that way.
Sometimes Cairo Hydra, turns into a statue.
Yes, these things all can happen and will happen. And don't take these little triumphs away from your players, because it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot more fun for them. It creates these like really memorable moments.
And stuff they'll be talk about for a long time.
And then the other thing I was going to say, like, like you're asking how to run the war, but like, what do you want to happen at the end of the war? Like, you can literally just choose what's going to happen at the end and play through the game, even though that a portion of the end has already been decided. Like, say that the Mountain Dwarf Fortress is going to fall. That's a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of figuring out the details in between. Like, maybe the players have lots of successes before that happens, but in the end, like, the forces are overwhelming, and there's all the failures are mounting out elsewhere, and maybe you kind of like put some benefits on the players or some rewards for them doing way better than you had anticipated or expected.
Well, because they killed that commander and rallied the troops. There's a hero or two that arise from that battle that leads the dwarves on to a success next generation.
Right, yeah, or maybe their losses aren't as heavy as they would have been,
right?
Because of that, something you can figure out. So like in order to decide how to run a good war, you have to decide what the outcome's going to be.
What is your story? How do you want your story to unfold? Is it going to be totally result of what the players do, or is there a bigger story arc that is not going to be 100% affected by what the players do and how you want to get there?
Exactly. So that's like one of the most important things to running this kind of game and running this war is, nothing's decided, it's all on whatever the PCs do. Or it's like, okay, well, the Dwarven Fortress is going to fall. But now the big question is, how does it get there?
Right.
You know, so what are you going to have to do to make it happen? Maybe the players do some such crazy and over the top things that you actually change your mind and decide to you know, have it not fall. Or maybe it still does fall, but you know, you had to actually bring in like a clan of giants that you weren't going to bring in before, or a dragon or something. Right. You know, and you know, the story just got a little bit bigger.
Right. So, what do you guys think out there? Do you have any tips for this? Running a war of dwarves versus you know, underkin, if you will. Put your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on Facebook, where we got this GM 911 from.
So until next time, stay nerdy.